Peeposh. The difference is the Peeposh is on the Salt River, and the Gila River is, the Gila River wetlands is on the Gila River. So they're both in the confluence area where the salt hits where the salt and the Gila come together in the west side of the community, the northwest side. So that's where this area is located, down in here. So this is the Salt River right here. So, so I've been working with the wetlands for, since 2003. And the wetlands prior to 2003 was a very stable system. I mean, the hydrology was stable for quite a long time, and the wetlands developed a lot of big, huge goody willow trees and cottonwood trees. And then in 2004, 2005, some upstream construction and wildfires really impacted the wetlands. So that's where all the restoration work we've done out there comes in. And go ahead, Jake. And highlight some of the accomplishments here. In 2007, we did a huge characterization of the Peeposh wetlands. We collected all kinds of groundwater data, surface water quality, surface water quantity, and so we got that document, and we've been using it as a management document for all this work we've been doing out there. But basically, the water quality in the Peeposh is just above the cottonwood and willow threshold. So the Peeposh is able to sustain cottonwood and willow plants, native plants. On the Gila River side, the water is a little more saline, and we can't grow cottonwood and willow out there, but we're doing a lot of other stuff with native plants, salt-tolerant tank plants. So in 2010, we were able to put the Peeposh in an environmental easement, a tribal environmental easement, and in 2014, we had to do some major restoration, which we'll see. And here's the large willows I'm talking about. They were able, this period of stability prior to 2003, just huge willow trees that were in the wetlands all the way up and down. And this is about a 2-mile stretch of wetland area. Beavers have always been there. They own the water rights. First in time, first in use, right? That's them. So, I don't know, these guys, that's Pete and Posh, I guess. I don't know. This is an old picture, but we still have a lot of beavers out there, so. Another guy there. And this just shows how big the cottonwoods were back then. And they're very old growth cottonwoods, huge cottonwoods. There's some salt cedar right in the middle there that's established there. But when we had our wildfires, this salt cedar there that was left behind, it grew back. It's fire tolerant, right? So it just came in like crazy after our wildfire in 2005, which I'll show you. We had rickety trees out there. One of the benefits of the wetlands are the functional values. When we start talking like EPA here, functional values and functional stressors of the wetlands. Well, the salt cedar is a stressor, right? So this is the wildlife habitat is a functional value. Plus all the aquatic stuff is a functional value. Great blue heron there. Eagles have always been in the wetlands as far as I know, since I started working with them. This guy has a little blue band on there. So this is the male to our first nested pair out there. And that picture was in 2009, 10, something like that. But I worked closely back there with the Arizona Game and Fish. And Wes Bedford, he now has the Eagle program out there now, so he's still working with the Arizona Game and Fish. A couple of our eaglets, that's 2012. Back then we had nice cottonwood trees for them to nest in. This is the beaver pond, and I just want you to notice this tree, how big the trees were back then. So the system was real stable for a long time. And what do you guys notice about all of this here?
Beaver work.
What do you think all those little stumps are?
Beavers.
Beaver activity, right? So they basically created this whole beaver pond, and I'll refer back to that as we go through this, because that beaver pond dried up from some of the impacts that we had in 2004, 2005. But all those little stumps is when the beavers over time were clearing the way for this pond, and they had two big dams in the back end of it. The back end is over here. So they had two big, huge dams, and they're still there today, so they were reactivated. So wildfire 2005, you see the tree line up there. All our cottonwoods got burned. And cottonwoods are not fire tolerant, they do not come back. The Gooding willow did in that fire. They came back, they sprouted from the bottom, and they reestablished pretty good. So something good, something I didn't know back then. Again, the wildfire in 2005. So about 80%, I'm estimating here, about 80% of our native vegetation we lost in that fire. And then we had another one in 2012. So, but what these fires do when they burn, they kill all the native vegetation, and then the salt cedar established itself. And then it just, with the salt cedar it just perpetuates the fire system. So the frequency of fire increases the more salt cedar is present in there. Another thing we had was a lot of sediment coming in from upstream construction. So this is the inlet channel of the Pequash in 2000, I think that's around 2010. So the sediment comes in and the cattails encroach into the channel, and the water doesn't get into the wetlands, so we lost like about half our wetlands because of the sediment loading in the system. Generally, I guess sediment can be a functional value, but when there's too much, the system can't handle it. It chokes it out, so that's what happened. So it took us, 5-6 years, maybe 7 years to get a Corps of Engineers permit and grants to do some sediment work in there, because waters at the Pequash is in the waters of the U.S. So this sediment here is like about 3 or 4 feet deep from 2005 to 2014 there. So that's how much sediment was coming in the system. But and that's how long it took to get everything in place, to get it in there and dredge this out. So this is our dredging project. And we dredged 2,500 feet of the channel, almost the full wetlands. Just removing some of the the sediment out of the channel here, using these big heavy equipment. And this is kind of the finished product, all the way down. We came back and planted up on these upland areas and within the channel, cottonwood poles and stuff like that. This is the beaver pond. Remember that picture I showed you, the beaver pond? That's my truck in there. I went out there one Saturday, and this is after we dredged it out and cleaned it up. And so that's after the work was done. All right. And then this is the beaver pond, hydrology restored in 2014. And then we already started revegetating around the beaver pond here and some of our tree shelters in there. And so we started revegetating at that point. So when the fires happened in 2005 until like 2012, a lot of salt cedar came in. So with our project in 2014, we removed about 6 acres of salt cedar. I mean, this is monoculture stuff here. There's some Gooding willows back here and some cottonwoods, but a lot of the salt cedar in a lot of these areas were just like a monoculture. But we removed about 6 acres of that. And then we chipped ours. Somebody was talking about how they were doing some of their salt cedar. We chipped ours up. We stacked it up and we chipped it up, and we used that as a mulch. We used the chippings as a mulch to put what we want to grow in there, because that mulch keeps everything else from growing. So that was really helpful. We just kind of figured that out as we went along. So we did, there's a lot of places out in the peat bars that are still mulched, and I just leave them like that because it helps with, it kind of gives a fire break. So if there's another fire, there's a little break in there. So we just kind of left the mulch there. And then we came back and here's a better picture of what it looked like after we did salt cedar removal and mulching. And then we just came back and we planted the whole area. We put in over 5,000 plants, Gooding willow, cottonwood, there's some blue palo verde in there. These are deep pot plants. What we have to do is go in and auger 2 or 3 feet down, and we soak the holes really, really well before we put our plants in. Some more of the planting. We also did bulrush, seep willow. We did desert willow. We did coyote willow, salt brush, brittle bush we did, alkali saccatone. And here's one of our crews out there putting in some bulrush, the smaller plants there. And there's Althea with some alkali saccatone. And through all these projects, Althea's AmeriCorps group and Gila helped out on all these projects too. So, you know, so that was a good experience for them. Outreach. We have a lot of outreach going out in the Pequash. We bring groups out there all the time. So we did a lot of pole cutting. These are cottonwood poles. This is one of our AmeriCorps group back in 2015. So the first time I did this, I put all the cottonwoods in the water, and the beavers came and just ate them all up. So we started caging them. Okay. Now I found out that if you just wrap them in tarp, the beavers just think it's a solid thing, so they don't bother them. So now we skip the caging, we skip all that work and just wrap them in tarps and put them in the water for their soaking. And we soak ours for about a week. That's how we learned it. Somebody said they're just planting them now. I already left, I guess, the presentation for me. So we soak ours for a week, then we put them in the ground. And what we do when we put ours in is we auger all the way down to the capillary fringe of the water table. So we make sure that the end of that hole is sitting in there, so the foot's in there. So when the spring budding starts, and that's what happens when these things start to do spring budding, like February, first week of February, when the buds are popping out on the part of the pole that's sticking out, okay, in the part that's in the ground, it's growing roots. So that's what's happening. So that's how the pole establishes itself. Beaver caging, we had to do a lot of beaver caging up front because the beavers were just taking everything. But I learned, and I don't have a picture of it here, I learned that if you, there's a palo verde called the Jerusalem tree. It's got really sharp thorns, and I got stuck by them enough. They cause a really painful. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Kenosha.
Well, I started cutting those branches and putting them around the poles to keep the beavers off, and that works. That works. And Tudor was out there. Some of you guys know Tudor. Tudor was out there when we were doing this one time, and I told him, "Well, I'm doing this now," and he said, "Oh, that's an OIT." And I said, "What?" I said, "Well, okay, I'll buy it. What's an OIT?" He said, "An old Indian cook." So the more OITs you can use on your project, the better off you are. I think, you know, you don't have to go through all this fencing and stuff. So, but it does work. The Jerusalem thorn around the pole now, it does keep the beavers off. They don't like to get stuck by those stickers. They're very painful. Poles, I think this is back in 2015, and we went to Salt River. We went to Salt River around that time. We got about 120 poles from their site. I think that's the same site Gina was talking about. So we harvested from these guys, and I think these are some of the poles that we harvested, because these poles are big now. They grow about 10 feet a year, so they're about 25 feet tall now, the ones that we got from you guys from Salt River. And that was, not all of them made it that first time we learned, but sometimes we planted too close to the water. If you plant too close to the water, it'll drown it out. So you want to keep it back maybe 4, 5, 6 feet and go down to reach that capillary fringe to put your pollen. Just some more of our plantings. There's a desert willow, cottonwood there. We did try some nursery trees. That's a nursery tree there. I don't think that one made it. So, more poles. And I think we're getting like at least an 85 to 90% success rate on our poles. That's what we've been doing. We just planted about 160 more this spring, just a couple of months ago, in the peaposh. And here's the growth. These trees were planted 3 years ago, probably some of the Salt River poles there, and on that side too. All of those trees we planted, there's one there. This is the beaver pond area again. It's growing vegetation around there. We got some trees going on both sides. Should be. We got mesquites going. Here's trees we planted in 2016, I believe. I didn't show a lot of the other vegetation, but we have a lot of cattail out there. We planted bulrush and stuff. So here's some of the trees we first planted around the beaver pond. That's the beaver pond again. Some mesquites and cottonwood there. So our trees our cottonwoods we planted are getting pretty big now. So it'll take them a while to get huge like the ones that were there before. We're on our way. We're trying to get back to the eagles, just a picture of the eagles. And it's 2015, we had 2 big eagles in there. We call them the bobbleheads, the little heads. And that's Bobby, one of our water quality program staff. And we banded eagles one year. That's what she's got a big eagle there. That's it.
No canoe picture? No canoe picture?
No. We had Lewis had a canoe one day. And he said, Aunt Charlie made my mind. So he really liked it out there.
Got one question about your phone.
Was it just drought conditions or non-native species or other factors that pulled that fire into the riparian corridor early 2000?
I think it was a sediment issue coming in because it choked out the hydrology of the water. So the salt cedar started outcompeting the natives downstream. And then that's when the fire started hitting us. So I think that's what it was, the disruption into the hydrology.
Charles, you mentioned you had a really good survivability rate with your poles. What about with your tall pots?
Top pots? The top pots, anything I get from the nursery, it's kind of, I don't trust the nurseries. And we did the plants from the nurseries to maybe longer to establish than you would if you were getting from local stock. So the nursery plants we put in took like maybe 2 years, 3 years to really kick in, but they struggled for a long time and we had to caretake them, so, but that's what you really need to do on your project. If you can, you need to get your plants from local areas, your salt brush, your cottonwoods or whatever, because they've been already selected out biologically for that area. When you get the plants from the nursery, you don't know where they got it. For example, the first year we did this, I got some plants, cottonwoods from the nursery, and those cottonwoods, they don't bud until like middle of April. So I think they got the cottonwood somewhere up north, maybe Flagstaff or Catbird, somewhere over there. And all our local cottonwoods, they start putting out in February, and they're fully leafed now, you know, and so that's an example of, you know, the difference in genetics, you know, so you want to try to keep your genetics low.
One question right there.
Yeah, are you, do you have any ideas on strategies for, I don't know, pre-fire management, these types of restoration projects? You know,
Dr. Bedford has a wildfire crew out there right now, and they're in there removing salt cedar, stump cut style, and they're kind of really helping with keeping the salt cedar down. And then also, we just kind of go around and pull up all the small ones coming up every spring. You know, we just take the crew up and walk around the wetlands, and that helps a lot.
All right, thank you so much, Charles.